Welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about fitting linear models to data, and this is aligned with IXL Precalculus Z8. So suppose you were to measure the height and weight of 500 people and plot this data on a graph. Would you see any patterns? So here it is graph for you. Take a second to look at it. Do you see a pattern to the data? So the data of height and weight has a clear positive slope. Can we model this with a linear equation? Let's draw a line that passes straight through the middle of the data and write the equation of that line. So this is a function, height a function of, weight a function of height is roughly 5.985 times the height minus 225.084. So we can use this equation to actually predict someone's height. So how much would a person weigh if they are 72 inches tall or 6 feet? Plug in 72 for h, solve it out, and we get 205.836, and that's in pounds. So clearly that's not perfect because that's too heavy for a 6-foot person. This model is not perfect, but that's why we call it a model. So in general, it did measure the direction of the data. So there are many programs available to actually calculate the line that models the data set, but we'll be using Desmos. So here are the steps we need to input data into Desmos. First, you're given a data set. It's broken into 2 columns. Go over to Desmos, click the plus sign, and then click Table. Under X1, you're going to input the left-hand column, and under Y1, you're going to input the right column. Immediately, you'll see data is graphed on your graph. Once the data has been plotted, we can determine the equation of the line by inputting the following. Y sub 1 is approximately a times x sub 1 plus b. So to get this sub 1 on the keyboard, you have to click a sub b. And then to get the symbol for approximate, it's also on the Desmos keyboard. Once you put this in, automatically Desmos is going to give you this output. And here is the 2 numbers that you're most interested in. These determine the equation of your line. So in this case, it would be y equals a, and I'm going to go ahead and round this to 3 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3. So this will be negative 0.043, and that's times x, plus b, rounded to 3 decimal places, 6.688. So this is the equation that models my data. Let's try a practice example. Find the equation of the least squares regression line, which is just another way of saying the line that passes through the data, of the data set below. So Vince is a math teacher at a large school. Students have been complaining that his tests are too wordy. Vince is curious to know whether his wordiness is actually affecting student performance. So on the last several tests, Vince computes the average number of words of the question, as well as the average percentage of scores on that test. So input the left-hand column into x1 and the right-hand column into y1, and then put y1 is approximately a x sub 1 plus b into Desmos. Once you do that, you'll get the result that a equals negative 2.36567 and b is 146.336. Rounding both of these to the 3rd decimal place, or the 1,000th place, we get the following equation. And this is the equation that models the data set. Alright, and that's it. That's all you need to know for this lesson. So go ahead now and try some practice on your own.